Hello everyone. So we are going to start the new topic. It's the fatty liver. So in this particular topic, we are going to discuss what are the different mechanism by which this fatty liver it appears in the body. What are the consequences of this fatty liver? Moreover, how we are going to manage this fatty liver or the formation of this fatty liver. So keeping all this thing in the mind, we have made this particular presentation for you. So let's start. So with the background, first of all, you should know that the fatty liver, it is nothing but it refers to the deposition of excess of the triglyceride, or you can say fat in the liver cells. So when these fats they get excessively stored in the liver, they forms the fatty liver. That is the first and the foremost thing, right? You should know that the normal livers in a normal liver, the amount of the lipid or the fat stored, it is generally 5%. It is the normal fat concentration in the liver, it is just the 5%. Now apart from that, you should also know one thing, that the liver, they are not the storage organ for fat, because we all know that the fats are generally stored in the adipose tissue. So if somehow this liver it become a storage organ for the fat instead of the adipose tissue, the consequences is the development of fatty liver. Now you see one thing, that in a normal liver, if you see a normal liver, the Kupffer cells, those which are found in the livers, they contain the lipids. The Kupffer cells of the liver, the cells of the liver, they contain the lipid, but it remains in the form of droplets only, and that's to a very minimum level. Now you see, in a fatty liver, actually what happens, you will find the droplets of fats, or you can say triglycerols, throughout the entire cytoplasm of the hepatic cells. Just you see the difference. Earlier in a normal liver, the fats it appear as a droplet, but once the person he has developed a fatty liver, the triacylglycerol, or you can say the fats, they generally found throughout the cytoplasm of the hepatic cells, right? And this actually led to the impairment of the metabolic function of liver. So we all know that the liver, they function or they control the function of metabolism, both the anabolism as well as the catabolism in our human body, as because the liver is the storehouse for thousands and thousands of enzymes which plays vital role in the process of digestion as well as metabolism of your foodstuff as well as your drugs or whatever you used to take in the body. And this fatty liver, it is also associated with fibrotic changes and cirrhosis. So if the fatty liver or if the condition of the fatty liver it is not cured in time, then that can lead to fibrosis, or finally it can lead to cirrhosis of the liver. Now you see one thing, what are the factors which are going to promote the formation of fatty liver? So there are different factors, you can say there are numerous factors. So I am giving you some of the important factors here which are actually associated with the formation of the fatty liver. So basically, first of all, it's the mobilization of NEFA from the adipose tissue. Now what is NEFA? NEFA is nothing but it is the non-essential fatty acid, NEFA. So mobilization of NEFA from the adipose tissue. So whenever this non-essential fatty acid it get mobilized from the adipose tissue to the liver, this can cause the formation of fatty liver, right? The second one, it is the excess synthesis of the fatty acid from the glucose. So we all know that the body primarily depends upon the glucose as a source of energy, but sometimes what happens, due to the lack of supply of fatty acid in the body, or sometimes this excess of the glucose which are stored in the body, means excess of the glucose generally stored as a glycogen, but sometimes we have already discussed the de novo synthesis of the fatty acid. So when this process of de novo synthesis of the fatty acid it predominates in the human body, it can lead to the formation of fatty liver. The next one, it is the reduced removal of fat from the liver. This is what we know, that because once the fat it has been stored in the liver for a long time and it is not been utilized or removed from the liver, then this can lead to the formation of the fatty liver. The next one, it is the toxic injury to the liver. So this toxic injury to the liver, it can happen with any food stuff, any xenobiotics, or sometimes it can also happen with different types of drug, or sometimes you can say some chemicals like carbon tetrachloride. It is one of the prime chemicals which is used to induce means injury to the liver. The next one, it is the secretion of very low density lipoprotein. So it, now you see the secretion of the very low density lipoprotein, it needs the synthesis of the ApoB100 and ApoC. So these are nothing but these are the component, these are the apolipoprotein, this ApoB100 and ApoC, these are apolipoprotein which are actually involved in the promotion of fatty liver. The next one, it is the decreased oxidation of fat by the hepatic cells. So if the hepatic cells or if the cells of the liver, they are unable to oxidize the fat, then that can lead to the formation of the fatty liver. Now, types of the fatty liver. So basically there are 5 types. So all the types of the fatty liver, they are based on different mechanism. So fatty liver, your body may develop fatty liver which is having 5 different types, and these all 5 different types, they are actually based on different mechanisms. So first of all, number 1, it is the type 1, which is also known as the overfeeding of fat. Due to the overfeeding of fat, you can suffer from type 1 fatty liver. Type 2 fatty liver, it occurs or it is a consequences of oversynthesis of the fats from carbohydrates, right? Type 3, it is the over mobilization from deposits to liver. I repeat, over mobilization means movement of the fats from the adipose tissue to the liver. When it becomes more, this can result in the formation of the fatty liver. The next one, it is the under mobilization of the liver to the deposit. The next consequences, it is just the opposite, means when the liver it is unable to transport the fats from the liver to the adipose tissue. And the last one, it is the underutilization in the liver. The liver sometimes it cannot utilize or oxidize the fat, which can also result in the type 5 fatty liver. So basically we have the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 and type 5. So there are 5 types of fatty liver that can form in your body, and these are the reasons I am giving you. So let's discuss in brief so how this occurs. So first let's start with the type 1. So type 1, it is the overfeeding of the fat. So you see here, overfeeding of the fat, it produce what it will produce, it produce increase in circulating chylomicrons. So whenever your body is heavily fed with the fat, then what actually happens, you see, the liver can take up by pinocytosis. Now what is pinocytosis? It's an important term. Pinocytosis, it is the engulfment or cell drinking. Whenever the cell take up any liquid, it is known as pinocytosis. So thus this liver cells can take up the chylomicrons from the circulating fluid, that is from the plasma or you can say blood, and which leads to the increase in the triglyceride level, TG, increase in the triglyceride level in the liver cells. So this is the first thing, right? Now these circulating chylomicrons, they are affected, or you can say they are acted on these chylomicrons, or these chylomicrons are generally acted by the lipoprotein lipase. So lipoprotein lipase can cleave these chylomicrons, which produces increase in free fatty acid, FFA. It means the free fatty acid by hydrolysis of the triacylglycerol of the chylomicrons. I repeat this sentence one again. So this circulating chylomicrons which are produced due to excess of the feeding of the lipids, these are acted, or on this chylomicrons lipoprotein lipase will act, which will produce free fatty acid, and this free fatty acid actually it is produced by the hydrolysis of the triacylglycerol of the chylomicrons, right? Now this led to the influx. Now more amount of the free fatty acid will come into the liver. So you see, this led to the influx of the free fatty acid in the liver. Synthesis of the triglycerol is enhanced now. At this condition, the synthesis of the triglycerol, it is again enhanced, and formation and secretion of more very low density lipoprotein will take place, VLDL, right? Now the lipid deposited in type 1, this lipid which are deposited in type 1, which what are the lipids? It's the FFA, that is the free fatty acid, right? It reflects actually the composition of the dietary lipids. Whatever dietary lipids you used to take, those are generally get deposited in type 1 fatty liver diseases, right? The next type it is the type 2, which is also known as the oversynthesis of the fats from the carbohydrates. So the fats generally they form from the carbohydrate. We have already discussed in the de novo synthesis of the fatty acid, right? So in this case, what actually happened? You see, ingestion of the carbohydrate is excess of caloric requirement. Whenever your body it is on the carbohydrate diet, and this carbohydrate it is exceeding the requirement of the body. So you always used to tell, right? So we should have less amount of the calorie. So now suppose you are taking more amount of the carbohydrate which is stored, or which is more than the caloric requirement, then this excess of the carbohydrate, what it does, it gets stored in the, where? It gets stored in the liver as a glycogen. We know that. Now this surplus carbohydrates, whatever the excess of the carbohydrates you have, now these are channeled to the synthesis of the fatty acid as well as triacylglycerol, right? Now this surplus or the excess of the carbohydrate, they are now used for the synthesis of the fatty acid or triacylglycerol, which is also known as the lipogenesis in the liver and the adipose tissue. About this we have already studied earlier, right? Now you see the plasma lipids. Now what will be the consequences in the plasma lipids? The plasma lipid, actually what will happen here, so you see increase in the plasma triglycerol level. Now this process will increase the plasma triglycerol level as well as the VLDL, now which in turn actually increases the LDL level in the blood. You see here, once this fatty acid or triglycerol it is formed from the glycogen, now the resultant consequences is that you will have more amount or increased level of the triacylglycerol as well as VLDL, which in turn actually it is going to increase the level of LDL in the body, right? Now causes. So what are the causes? Or oversynthesis of the carbohydrates can result from, what are the consequences? So let's discuss. First of all, you see forced overeating of carbohydrates. So whenever we take excess amount of the carbohydrate which is actually not required in our body, whenever we are forcing our body to take extra amount of the carbohydrate, this can actually lead to the formation of fatty acid, or you can say this can turn the liver into fatty liver, right? The next one, it is experimentally. You can also induce the fatty liver experimentally. How you can induce the fatty liver? By administration of the excess amount of the certain vitamins like vitamin B, which include, for example, thiamine, riboflavin, biotin. These three vitamins, these are vitamin B complex, right? So vitamin B complex contains from vitamin B1 to B12, right? So here you can see thiamine, riboflavin and biotin, these three actually they can induce the fatty liver condition. Apart from that, administration of amino acid like cysteine, which are generally taken as a supplement, this cysteine can also induce fatty liver. The third condition, it is over mobilization from depots to the fats. Now from the adipose tissue, the fat is going to get mobilized to the liver, and this mobilization, it actually exceeds the limit of the liver. The liver cannot bear this much of fat whenever it comes from the liver, right? Sorry, from the adipose tissue. So this type of fatty liver, it is generally referred as physiological fatty liver. You remember this thing. Over mobilization from depots to the fat, from depots to the liver, this type of fatty liver, it is also known as the physiological fatty liver. So this represent an exaggeration of normal process, excessive mobilization of the free fatty acid from the depots to the liver. Now this condition may also lead to the formation of fatty liver. The liver respond to the increased synthesis of the triacylglycerol and VLDL and increases the plasma level of the LDL, which we have already discussed in our previous slide. So when the mobilization it increases, now at this condition, what will actually happens? The liver will respond to the increased synthesis of the triacylglycerol and VLDL, and thus it will increase the plasma level of the LDL, right? Now you see what are the causes when it happens. So you see, basically the fatty liver of this type develops in the condition involving greatly increased utilization of fat as a fuel. So whenever your body it uses basically the fat as a fuel instead of carbohydrate, whenever the body it uses the fat as a fuel instead of the carbohydrate, at that time what actually happens, more amount of the fat from the adipose tissue, they are transported from the adipose tissue to the liver, as these fats they are now acting as a fuel. And when there is interference with the oxidation of the carbohydrate, so when the carbohydrate it is not used as a reserve fuel, when this carbohydrate is stored in the body and the body it is not using the carbohydrate as a reserve fuel, because the carbohydrate generally gets stored whenever it remains in an excess condition, it gets stored as a glycogen. But when these glycogens are not giving the access as a source of energy, then at that time the body it uses some alternative type of fuel, and this is nothing but it is the fat. Now when this body it is going to use the fat as a fuel, at that time this over mobilization from the depots to the liver it generally takes place. So you see here what are the conditions. Basically this type of means you can say complexity, it occurs in diabetes mellitus. So in diabetes mellitus the person he generally suffer from fatty liver, right? And sometimes in experimental condition like hypoinsulin, if the insulin amount of the insulin it is less in the body, then the body cannot utilize the it cannot utilize the carbohydrate. Or hyperpituitary or hyperadenocortical type, in these conditions actually the body it is unable to utilize the carbohydrate as a primary source of energy. Next one, during the time of starvation or you can say fasting, right? Apart from that, carbohydrate deprivation. So if you are not taking any carbohydrates as a foodstuff, or if you are in fasting condition, at that time the body it uses the fat as a source of energy. Now you see here, owing to the non-utilization of the carbohydrate, now the body is not utilizing the carbohydrate, this adipose tissue cannot esterify. That is the first and foremost thing. The adipose tissue cannot esterify the free fatty acid due to lack of, I hope you know that what is esterification. The free fatty acid it gets esterified with whom? It gets esterified with the cholesterol to form, we have already discussed earlier, right? Now it is not going to esterify as because they lack this adipose tissue, they lack a particular enzyme, it is known as alpha glycerophosphate, P, or P stands for the phosphate, and thus aggravating the hyperlipemia. And thus the amount of hyperlipemia is nothing but high amount of the lipids in the blood. And in addition to the fatty liver and hyperlipemia, this condition it is characterized by ketosis, and in advanced case it is leading to the acidosis. I hope you can now correlate between this condition what we have already learned in the synthesis of fatty acid, the ketoacidosis, the formation of ketone bodies, and the condition of ketoacidosis. Right. Now the next condition it is the under mobilization from the liver to the depots. Now in this condition the liver it cannot mobilize, it cannot transport the fatty acid from the liver to the depots. Depots means the adipose tissue. So what is going to happen here? You see here the fatty liver of this type, it is generally known as pathological. Earlier one it was known as the physiological. Now this is known as the pathological fatty liver. This type 4 is known as the pathological fatty liver. So it is accompanied by decrease in the plasma lipids. It is also known as the hypolipemia. Right. Now the amount of the, when the liver it is unable to transport the fatty acid from the liver to the adipose tissue, the body suffer from a particular consequences that is known as the hypolipemia. Right. Now the pattern of liver lipids is also abnormal in this type. Now fatty liver of this type, if not treated, if you are not going to treat this type of fatty liver, then it can eventually lead to formation of cirrhosis. And if it is not treated, so eventually it can lead to other complications. Moreover, it may be associated with hemorrhagic lesions in the kidney also. Now what are the causes? So basically they appear to be this type of the pathological fatty liver, these appear to be caused by agents or conditions which actually produce either absolute or relative deficiency of certain amount of the ingredients which are actually used by the liver for synthesis of the VLDL. Now what are the agents? Let's discuss. So basically first agent it is the protein. It is the apolipoprotein itself, right? The second condition it is that the building blocks of its structural lipid moieties such as cholesterol, ester, or PL means the phospholipids, which include the inositol phosphatides, choline, and PUFA, or you can say polyunsaturated fatty acid. These are the building blocks. Now factors which interfere with the secretory mechanism. So basically the fatty livers of type 4 may be roughly classified according to the causative agents or phenomenon as follow. So now the factors interfering with the secretory mechanism. So basically what are the causative agents? So the causative agent for the type 4 may be roughly classified according to the causative agent and phenomenon as follow. So first of all, deficiency of essential fatty acid, that is one of the prime factor for the type 4 fatty liver or fatty liver disease, right? The next one it is the imbalance of vitamin B complex group. So if there any sort of imbalance which is present in your body in vitamin B complex, that can also lead to the type 4 fatty liver. The last type it is the type 5, which is also known as the underutilization in the liver. So basically it actually happens, or it is the possible that the fatty liver of the pantothenic acid deficiency, the fatty livers of pantothenic acid deficiency are of this type. So when there is a deficiency of pantothenic acid, then this type, the type 5, it takes place. So this pantothenic acid actually leads to the decrease in the availability of CoASH. I hope you now you can relate what I have told you in the synthesis of the fatty acid. So this decrease in the availability of coenzyme ASH. This can actually lead to the type 5 and hence activation of the fatty acid and its oxidation it suffers. Apart from that, poisoning by salts of rare earth elements like cerium. So the cerium poisoning, what it can do, this cerium poisoning can lead to the underutilization of the fats in the liver due to the inhibition. This cerium, it is going to inhibit the mitochondrial system which oxidizes the fatty acid in the liver. Now, fatty liver diseases. So what are the different types of fatty liver diseases? We have the NAFLD, NASH and cirrhosis. So basically you see non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it is also known as NAFLD. Apart from that, you have the non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, that is also known as NASH. So basically you see NAFLD, it is the most common liver disease where the fat it accumulates in the hepatocytes, means the fat it accumulates in the liver cells, right? Now this high fat diet, first of the contributing factor, the high fat diet and uncontrolled diabetes mellitus, these are the main reason for the formation of NAFLD. You should remember that. And with the progress of NAFLD, it finally leads to the formation of NASH, right? The next one, the fatty liver, it progresses to cirrhosis. So with the time being, with the lapse of time, finally this fatty liver, it get converted into the cirrhosis. So basically you see the fat molecule, it infiltrate the cytoplasm of the cell, thus it leads to the fatty infiltration. I repeat, the fat molecules, it infiltrate the cytoplasm of the cell, it will come in to the cytoplasm, right? Now these are seen as a fat droplets in the cytoplasm, right, which we have already discussed earlier. Now the nucleus is pushed to a side of the cell because of high amount of the fat load in the hepatic cells. The nucleus of the cell, it is pushed to a corner in the cell. In spite of being in the center, now it is pushed to a corner due to high load of the fat inside the cytoplasm, and ultimately the hepatic cell, it lies. At that time the cell, it lies or it breaks off. As a healing, to heal this process, the fibrous tissue is laid down and causing the fibrosis of the liver, or you can say cirrhosis of the liver, it takes place. Now lipotropic factors. So what are the lipotropic factors in the human body? So basically these are the substances which are required for the normal mobilization of the fat from liver. These lipotropic factors are essential for mobilization of the fat to move the fat from the liver to the adipose tissue or other part of the body. So basically the deficiency of these factors, the lipotropic factors, the deficiency of these lipotropic factors can lead to the formation of fatty liver. So important lipotropic factors are basically the choline, the betaine, the methionine and the inositol. These are the important lipotropic factor in the human body, right? Apart from that, folic acid, vitamin B12, glycine, serine, they also function as the lipotropic factor in the human body. So basically these are the important factors which are essential in the body for mobilization of the fats from the liver to the adipose tissue for storage, right? And if there is any dysfunction with these lipotropic factors, this can lead to the formation of the fatty liver. Now action of the lipotropic factors, how they are going to act. So see, basically this choline and inositols, they are components of the phospholipid and these are required for the synthesis of the phospholipid, the first thing, right? Apart from that, the other lipotropic factors are also concerned with the transmethylation reaction, and this ultimately led to the synthesis of the choline, right? So severe protein deficiency disease like kwashiorkor, it can also causes the fatty liver. And due to defect in the synthesis of the choline as a result of insufficient amino acid methionine supply. So if methionine is less in supply in the body, then that can lead to the defect in the synthesis of the choline, and this choline, it is responsible as a lipotropic factors, and if it happens, then the person will suffer from the fatty liver. Now vitamin E and selenium, they give protection due to their antioxidant effect to the liver. And lastly, omega-3 fatty acid, they have a protective effect against the fatty liver. So if a person, if he sometimes feel like he is going to suffer from fatty liver due to his high fat diet, he can choose the oils which contain the omega-3 fatty acid. The choline deficiency and fatty liver, we all have discussed till now regarding the relationship of choline with that of the fatty liver, right? So basically, this deficiency of choline, it will decrease the phospholipid synthesis, right? It is one of the consequences. Next, impaired formation of lipoprotein membrane. The choline deficiency can lead to impaired formation of lipoprotein membrane. It reduces the synthesis of the carnitine due to sufficient supply of the methyl group. And finally, impairment in fatty acid oxidation. So thus you can say this choline, they somehow control the major part of the formation of the fatty liver. Thus concluding, thank you everyone. I hope now the concept of fatty liver, it is clear to everyone. So if you like my video, just press the like icon. You can share this video with your classmates and colleagues, and for further notification from this channel, you can subscribe my channel. Thank you everyone.